Hey, no long intros. Let's just start.
Yeah, baby, bring it.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, yeah,
you're good.
boy,
You're good.
Oh, you thought Diddy was bad? Well, he is. But you want to meet someone who's arguably worse? Vince McMahon. See, Vince McMahon had a problem. He's currently under federal investigation for misconduct with many women. For those of you that don't know, Vince McMahon is the former owner of the WWE wrestling stuff. Anyway, you want to hear something wild? Wrestling fans have always known he was an evil psychopath. Why? Because listen closely. He played a character in his own wrestling show so twisted and insane, it became harder and harder for people to think he's acting. For instance, the storyline that involved his daughter. Whatever you think I'm about to say, it's worse. His daughter's a character on the show as well. She plays his daughter. In fact, his whole family plays themselves. They go through many inappropriate things, like at one point, her daughter and her son start palming her mom in front of millions of people. But I think the son just held the mom so she couldn't run away. Anyway, here's where things start to get wicked. In a wrestling promo video, his daughter says, "I've only said no to my father for two things. And one of them was he could not be the father of my child in the show." Focus, we not finished. Look at the time. She was married to a wrestler named Triple H in real life. They were having a kid. After they told her dad, Vince McMahon, "No, we're not participating in that story," Vince McMahon then asked, "What if it's your brother?" Her brother and her husband said, "No, Vince." Well, actually, her brother said, "Yeah, I get it. My sister's hot, but I had to turn her down." He actually said this. But he might have said this because, remember, I told you, this is for a wrestling promo. Meaning Vince McMahon put this on air. He put this on television. He wasn't hiding this.
It's just baby oil. All right. Praise the Lord, baby oil. Ever not include baby oil in your love life. You are missing one of the great inventions. Baby oil ain't really for babies. It's for your damn baby. Oh, my all-time favorite, baby. 3 bottles of baby oil. Throw some baby oil in there. I'm telling you, baby oil is, it just go with everything. You can get baby oil on pizza. I done got it on pizza before. You taste it, you can't even hardly taste it. All around my mouth before. I don't even know what's on there. I just suggest a baby oil type night. I talk about baby oil all the time because it's a specialty. If you ain't really had the experience with baby oil, you can't know what it is. But you got to be a baby oil professional. I need hot baby oil at hand. Praise the Lord, baby oil.
This Frankenstein-looking thing is exactly why you should not be afraid of flying. This is the wing of a Boeing 787 undergoing a flex test. Have you ever seen a wing flex this much in real life? Absolutely not. That's because engineers test planes way beyond their operational capability, so that you can have peace of mind on your next crammed-ass Ryanair flight.
I don't know if billionaires are so evil that they're stupid or so stupid that they're evil. Same goes for politicians.
Would you believe me if I said it's because they're so stupid that they're evil? The book, The Basic Laws of Stupidity, written by the Italian economic historian Carlo Cipolla. He let us know there are 5 laws of stupidity. And law number 5 tells us that a stupid person is the most dangerous person alive. And you might be thinking, well, why? Because the decisions that they make not only hurts themselves, but everyone around them. So what does that mean? Let me introduce you to Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Same issues that we're dealing with in this timeline, he was dealing with it first in the 1940s. If you get my drift. While in a concentration camp, he wrote a letter in regards to stupidity. He let us know that stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than the malice. Because against stupidity, we are defenseless. You cannot reason with them. You cannot compromise with them. They are erratic. He even says, never again will we try to persuade the stupid person with reason, for it is senseless and dangerous. And Carlo, who wrote his book in the 1970s, agrees.
What is helium-3 energy?
Yeah, so helium-3 is an element that doesn't get to Earth very much because our atmosphere and our gravitational field prevent it from landing on the Earth. So an ounce of helium-3 on the Earth is very, very expensive, and the business case doesn't really close. But on the moon or on the asteroids, there's a ton of helium-3. And so to give you an example of what it means, if we were to mine the moon for helium-3, we could, at the current level of electricity use in America, or not in America, in the globe, we could power the energy needs of the human race for thousands of years based on the helium-3 that's on the moon right now. And and so the twist there is China is there on the moon, on the far side of the moon. We don't know what they're doing because we don't have infrastructure up there to even see what's going on. But we do know they're mining helium-3. And so
we legitimately don't know what China is doing on the other side of the moon.
No, we don't.
Okay, someone's getting executed.
Crazy.
North Korea just tried to launch their brand new 5,000-ton warship, which is meant to be the pride and joy of its navy. But instead of a spectacular launch, the ship capsized halfway through the reveal right in front of Kim Jong-un. They tried sliding the ship into the water, but it got caught under its own weight and started sinking. And this whole thing was being broadcasted to the entire world. So he got so embarrassed and said this was a criminal act by his naval engineers and they would be punished. In other words, $500 million sank underwater in front of the dictator for the entire world to see.
I got a question. What
crazy.
is that? Because your team put this in here. I don't know what it is.
Well, I will show you if I may.
Yes, please show me what this is.
Come with me. Come with me. Let's unveil it for everyone. It's a very special thing. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yo, the World Cup!
This is the Club World Cup trophy. It's incredible. It's unique. It's special, and it's not. It doesn't finish here because. Give me a sec.
What the hell?
It has a magic key to it. Right? This doesn't happen in other sports.
Yo,
It's only in soccer.
W's in the chat.
So, look at this. 1, 2,
Yep.
3. Okay? And then?
Wow, this is nice.
What the hell?
And it
No, that's
shines to the world.
tight.
That's the official
Yo!
Club World Cup trophy.
There's a creator on here, I'll tag her down below, that believes that there are portals at Walmart. And as far-fetched as that sound, I can 100% confirm that she is in fact right. I shared this story a while back on here, but for those of you guys who haven't heard it, I'll give you a quick little rundown. I was working night shift around this time. On this day, I happened to get out of work early, which meant it was about 3 a.m. 3 a.m. was my favorite time to go grocery shopping because I knew there was no one at Walmart. So I pulled up to the Walmart parking lot. There's no other cars there, which was a little odd, but I didn't really think much of it because it was 3 a.m. As I'm making my way out of my car and walking towards the entrance, these 3 ladies just randomly appear out of nowhere. They just started walking in with me. Thought it was a little weird, but at first I'm like, well, maybe they just walked here, or I don't know. And I looked over at these 3 females. They looked as if they had crawled out of a sewer. Like, it was something that I had never seen before. But again, wasn't gonna judge. I decided to kind of just go my way and they went their way. As I'm walking in, I noticed there's a person at the cash register, but there's nowhere else. So I'm still making my way towards the back when I noticed that these 3 girls are now following me. At first I was just like, oh, they must just be going the same way, but I noticed that they're like kind of grouped together, like whispering to each other. And at one point I hear where one of them says my name, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, how the hell did they know my name? Mind you, I had just gotten out of the hospital, so I check and I'm like, make sure I'm not wearing my ID, and I wasn't. So I'm like, how do they know my name? So I'm like, okay, this is weird. I decided to hide in like the women's department to try to like lose them so they would just go away and leave me alone. So I'm like in the women's department, kind of like bent down. I see one at the corner of my eye come around and goes, there she is. The minute she said that, the other 2 started to laugh, but this like eerie laugh, and I kicked into like a fight or flight mode where I knew that I was in danger and I needed to get as far away from these people as I possibly could.
Las Vegas and the Grand Canyon are biblical Egypt. California is the biblical promised land. The biblical Nile River is the Colorado River, and the biblical Mississippi River, the Mississippi River is biblical Euphrates. Now, before I tell you how, you have to realize only all of this makes sense if Jesus came back and we're in a little season of Satan. It does not make sense if we're just waiting for the second coming. Now, before you go, the Grand Canyon is just some rocks. I want you to look at this rock formation, okay? It clearly looks like lightning. The Bible says Jesus comes back with fervent heat, and electricity is fervent heat. And that's why the Grand Canyon looks exactly like that, because the electricity stuck. Then they also have Egyptian god temples there. I don't know why they would if it wasn't actually real Egypt. And the oldest known 10 commandments we have written in stone is in New Mexico. So how does that make any sense? As you can see right here, the Grand Canyon has these little holes all over. And if I'm right about Jesus coming back, that means Armageddon happened. That means 1/3 of the angels fell, which is obviously why you have those holes around the whole earth. Exactly 200 are around the whole world. So this is Egypt and it got destroyed. Fallen angels fell down with it. As you can see right here, this is California on an old map. It is split by the Red Sea, okay? Which is the promised land split by the Red Sea that Moses had to cross. Yet again, split by the Red Sea. And it has the Colorado River flowing right into it, which the Nile River would have done. And when you overlap these images of our maps today with the old map, Grand Canyon, aka Egypt, is right here, and it's a quick little walk across the Red Sea to the Promised Land. And that explains why we have buildings like this from the 17 and 1800s in America, when supposedly nobody was living here. Everybody's moving in from Europe and England, and they're living in wood huts and shooting people like cowboys. How does this make sense in a timeline? Unless people lived here for a long time. As you can see right here, the Vikings came 500 years before Columbus ever did, if he ever did. So that throws off the mainstream media timeline for good. But then that makes you think, okay, so what if the Vikings built these buildings? Now, before I sound crazy, just think about this. All these old buildings we see are split by two type of architectures. This Romanesque type of architecture, right? You can clearly tell this looks like Venice, Italy right here, mixed with the Vatican buildings. This is obviously Roman influence. The Pantheon in Rome is exactly like the buildings I just showed you. Okay, so now think about this. How are Romans and Vikings alike? Well, they all have pagan gods, and they all have multiple gods that represent the same thing. Zeus, Thor, you know, his sisters, then the children they have that are half God and human. Like, it's all the same religion. Same thing with the Greeks, the Romans. Like, they're all the same deities, just different names and stories for different cultures. So what if Rome was the final beast? Because it was. That's not debated upon all Christians. So the final beast was the whole world. So therefore it literally had every single religion and race. So the best sailors were the Vikings. So the Romans obviously said, yo, go sail for us and build in America, because that was Rome. Rome wasn't just a little city in Italy. Rome was the whole world. Then we got buildings like this in the Middle East in the desert, okay? Where you see the top triangle, which is obviously a Roman building. Then you got the Corinthian pillars, which is obviously Roman. Then you have pagan gods, Corinthian pillars, the little circle that they half circle that they like to do at top of their buildings. And as you can see right here, it was also melted because it was hit with the same electrical current and power that Grand Canyon was. Very clearly, these are pagan Roman gods. So therefore, everything we're told is a lie. Tartaria is just a city within the millennial reign. Same thing in Turkey. These were not built to look like this at all. If anything, we know that the old world had way better architecture and structures than we do today. So this was obviously melted. This is a 38-story bunker and cave system inside of the same city that you just saw melted. You know what they were hiding from? God's wrath. They knew the word. Turkey is one of the 7 places of Asia that John writes to in Revelation. He says, repent. Jesus is coming back soon. Repent, or your church will be destroyed. And guess what? And as you can see here, all the 7 churches were destroyed, just like John said would happen very soon. Not today, but soon back then. Because Jesus was coming back then, and now we're just waiting for new heaven and earth. And if you don't believe Jesus came back, watch my other videos because they have a lot more proof.
I know y'all remember this girl from TikTok and YouTube Live. She done been found guilty of 4 felonies for what she used to be doing on TikTok and YouTube Live. She is either finna face 7 years in prison or she finna get deported. Now, I will say I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt, but she is from Liberia. I don't know if that's just a tradition that they do over there in Liberia, but girl, this ain't Liberia. This is America. We used to be in them comments trying to tell her, you cannot be doing this. If you don't know who this is the only trigger warning I'm finna put in. Y'all, I'm finna talk about animal abusc. If that's something you don't want to hear about, you don't know what I'm finna talk about, get out of here. Man, this girl used to be buying live animals, y'all. I'm talking about for real. I seen this with my own eyes. She used to have frogs, live bunnies, live chickens. And according to this article, she had a pigeon too. Now, as far as the pigeon, they say she inflicted pain on this pigeon for 10 minutes before taking its life. And she used a very dull knife to actually take its life. So just causing pain to the pigeon. As far as the chicken, she plucked the feathers out while the chicken was live. Then she broke the neck. With that frog, I believe she put it in boiling hot water. I remember when she had the frog, she had this big old pot of boiling hot, steamy hot water on the stove. So I believe that's what she did with the frog. But she would get all of our attention from TikTok Live. We would be so invested in these animals. We would be in the comments trying to save the animal, like, please don't do this. And she would just be laughing. She would be so giddy about it. Like, just crazy, just strange. Then she would go over to YouTube Live and actually perform the act, like on live, y'all. Cook the animals and eat them. And I mean, would it have been so bad if she would have just bought the animals unalived in the first place from the pet store? Because I mean, if she got an appetite for frogs and pigeons and bunnies, that's just on her. But girl, we tried to tell you in them comments, you can't be doing this inhumane stuff and then you doing it on live. Are you crazy? She probably thought, well, America's such a violent country. I don't see how y'all got a problem with this. But girl, when it comes to them animals, we don't play. They can't even fend for themselves. Like, anyway, how y'all feel about this situation? Y'all think she deserved prison? Y'all think she deserved to be deported? Or do y'all think that this was her culture and she should be able to do whatever she want to do in the privacy of her own home, even though she was on live?
So this one's very interesting. Apparently, if you cheat on your spouse, and this is a bill that's going to be passed, or a law that is going to be passed in 2026 in the majority of states, that if you cheat on your spouse, you will possibly receive jail time. Like, it'll literally be illegal to do so. And y'all know how cheating culture is today. I mean, people cheating like crazy. It's an epidemic of infidelity, especially as it pertains to marriage on both sides. And so how does this change the dynamic of relationships going forward? I personally think that, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not gonna sit here and like try and, I think if you cheat on your husband or your wife, maybe you need to sit in jail for a little while. I'm just saying. Also, you gotta remember that in the Bible, if you cheated, you know what I'm saying, your demise was probably some type of public stoning or you know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit worse back in the day. You were sentenced to, if you were caught cheating, you know what I mean? And so I think a little bit of jail time for somebody who, I heard a lot of people saying, well, you can die from a broken heart. You can get mental illness. You could never love again. You could feel all these different things. And I understand that as well. So I do think in some ways cheating should be illegal, and it honestly should equal jail time. But if this law passes, I can guarantee you there are going to be so many people you see never get married or try to get a divorce right before. I can guarantee you this is going to change the entire relationship system, and there's going to be like severely less.
I think it's cool so that, you know, people who are serious can be in serious relationships rather than just, you know, playing around and, you know, sleeping around with other people. So I feel this is okay. I feel this is good. But then, who knows? I think a lot of people might not get married because of this, and it's also crazy because of, you know, fear of doing the wrong thing. Because, you know, it's also, you know, intertwined with emotions, like how we feel, but we can tame that. Like, I think we all have to have self-control if we are serious with other people. So I mean, this is not bad, but then let's see what happens. Like, I am eager to see and curious to see what happens in the near future. Let's get back to the video.
Just because there's a lot, y'all don't understand this, dude. There's a lot of people who be cheating out here, bro. It's a cold world. And so I think it's kind of a good thing, honestly.
Do you think the U.S. government can continue?
continue what?
To exist. You think the current system can continue?
I think it will continue.
You do.
Subscribe!
Because it does feel like we're moving towards something.
Like a one world government?
I'm not sure what, but it seems like so much change in a short period of time. The scale's falling for so many people realizing that, what they believed was real is not. Questions people are asking, the resurgence of Christianity in the country. I mean, it all seems to be happening at once. And I know, in every age, people think the end is near, but does that ever occur to you?
I think it will continue to exist until people no longer have the appetite for it to exist.
Makes sense.
You think we're pretty far from that?
Yeah. Goes back to critical thinking.
Yeah, maybe that's right. Last question, because I can't resist.
Keep in mind, this was real. Take a look at it, and remember, I had no idea what was about to happen. And I'll be right back.
Now, the first thing you need to know about amateur wrestling, or professional wrestling or submission holds, you just tell me, brother, when you want him to quit squealing, okay?
All right.
It's called a front shin lock. How about it, T?
Keep him like that for a little while. Because he's all right. He's just sleeping. He's sleeping. Really, I was a sleeper hole. He'll be all right. He's waking up now. That was a serious.
Right,
a lot of people.
See, it works. All right, brother.
And now, we'll be right back after this word from you-know-who. We'll be right back. When I got up and said we'll be right back, I had no idea where I was. I was in shock. And I know I'm doing this a little bit, maybe going too far, but can we get a close-up of these stitches?
If you break that, I'll give you £100.
£100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, you guys listening, yeah?
I'll give you cool. So, how are you going to break it?
£100.
And what do you mean break it?
£100.
Yeah, but how are you going to break it? You mean smash the head off?
No. What? I think it's a joke.
Yeah.
Think it's a joke.
You ain't breaking.
Think it's a joke.
Yeah.
No. No. What are you saying about?
Shit.
Fucking no.
Cuidado, cuidado. Mira esto.
Hola.
Every day, China impresses me more and more, sentencing corrupt politicians to death for $36 million in bribes. That's what I'm talking about. That's the type of Mephistophelian decisions that need to be made. Because we had this input here in the U.S., probably 75% of our politicians will be headed to Gladiator Fridays this week. He was vice president of a state-owned bank, and he was accepting bribes in exchange for help with loan financing and securing jobs, aka cheating the system. But see, in our capitalist society over here in the US, everybody be cheating the system, but they act like they're not cheating the system so they can seem like they're on top because they deserve to be there, even though they went through a bunch of bullshit like this. And it's like, okay, yeah, Nancy, yeah, we'll catch you on Gladiator Fridays. 100%. It may have took him 3 decades to find out that bro was moving so malfeasant, but it doesn't matter. It wasn't too little too late, like JoJo used to say. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna die today. Well, he has 2 years, but it doesn't matter. He dying. I'm not trying to glorify violence. I'm just saying we need to be more violent with the millionaires over here. Because when they break the law and do some crazy shit like this and take bribes and fuck over a lot of other people for no reason other than monetary gain, oh yeah, you gotta die, son. Go straight to Gladiator Fridays. Good luck versus the lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, you die. Because I know a lot of other Chinese politicians, once they saw this, and they're like, oh, I'm not taking no more bribes. You about to die, son. No, we cleaning all this shit up. I can't get caught now. Know who else is finally getting caught but with no consequence? That blue and white country. Yeah, they're going to starve 14,000 babies. That's right. Without aid. And guess what? There's trucks waiting to be delivered to deliver aid to these babies and women and children and civilians. But start hitting translate tweet more when you see Israeli media, because then you can see exactly what they say for themselves. And like this guy, he's a political leader. Every baby in Gaza is an enemy. And you're telling me they're attacking Hamas? No. They're attacking every human that lives in that area and killing them and starving them. Here's what the other maniac dweeb Ben Guyver had to say. Resuming humanitarian aid to Gaza is a grave mistake. We can't give our enemies oxygen. He's letting you know out loud. I see all of them as my enemies. I want to kill all of them. And this is the thing, people. You have a chance right now to be on the right side of history. See, in World War II, they didn't know. There wasn't a phone. I couldn't go scroll and see babies and women dying every single day. See, you see that shit right now. So you can condemn them, or you could wait in 15, 20 years. People are like, damn, like, how y'all let that happen? Shh, I ain't say nothing. And don't get lost in the ignorance online, because there's people like this. It's located on the shores of the Mediterranean Sea. Why can't they just go fish? Oh, well, you know, when they go out in their boats, they die. Israeli drone strike. And that was this past summer. Just a couple of days ago, they tried to go fish. They just shot them directly because they thought, well, they were threats and because they have no consequences. And just today, they opened fire on a European diplomatic delegation. Benjamin Netanyahu, Ben Guyver, deserve to be #1 in Gladiator Fridays.
Crazy. And we've come to the end of today's video. I mean, interesting videos. Crazy videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.